day one project, about 10 years planning phase. What could go wrong? So what's this channel, what's the video, and what's planned to be the next few installments in the series supposed to be? Well, let's take a walk and talk about it. But first, check that out. Ain't this just most premium spot there is? Beautiful. But what is it? This is going to be a documentation of the transformation of what I consider to be, in its final form, an ultimate version of a Jeep Wrangler. What it's not going to be is an in-depth how-to series. I am not a mechanic by trade. I'm going to be YouTubing a lot of this as I go along, and it is a great big learning experience for me. And also, I just don't want the rest of the world knowing I'm something of an autiste myself. But as I was saying, not a how-to. I'm not that guy. I'm just gonna have some snapshots and a little bit of commentary along the way, along this greater trajectory and adventure. Now, when I initially started filming all this, you may notice there's a lot more green out here. This is a future version of me, so some big life changes are on the horizon since I initially started this. But originally I wanted to build up this channel, see what I did there, into undertaking a great odyssey, an adventure that I've been mapping and planning for a couple of years, and I've done in segments, but I just kind of wanted to do it as a whole. I think mostly this is kind of for me, to just remember where I started, see where I end up, and then kind of reflect back on all those little interesting moments in between. But I did think, well, even with some very elementary filming and editing skills, I apologize for that, somebody might enjoy the content too. So here we are. Here I am. Look at that. It is beautiful out here. All the rhododendrons and mountain laurels. I missed the blooms. I wasn't here for it. But still very nice. So yeah, it's mostly for my memories, but I thought it would be a great launching point for a great adventure. And I was hoping maybe somebody else would find a little bit of entertainment value in the rest of it. But let me go ahead and address now, while I can hear the keyboard warrior seething and foaming at the mouth with anger about why I'm not doing a Hemi swap or why I'm not doing a 4BT swap. Well, There's a little flex on all you keyboard warriors and haters that have no experience with this and just like to go and hate on people that have experience with things and get to do things that you're probably just jealous of. I don't know. But get wrecked, nerds. But we'll dive more into what exactly is going on. Later on in the video. Man, that is nice. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a challenge. A lot of headaches and thrown wrenches, and I almost lost my cools. But we're gonna do it. And we're really gonna appreciate it when it's done. So let's get to it. So here I am, my pride and joy, my 98 TJ. Finally got some time to set up some shop space and make this wet dream of mine a reality. Now, this is actually the second one I've owned, but we'll get into that a little bit later. As far as the project itself, you know, what else could I do to this? It's already got the big lift, it's already got the big tires, it's got the bumpers, the lights, the whole deal. Well, I couldn't just stop at good. Thought about how I can make a good thing better. Before we talk about what's going to go in here and what's going to be done to it, let's roll that montage of how it already sits. So up front, I'm running a full width bumper with just a basic Quadratec winch and some synthetic line in it that may get switched out for something a little more serious. Already rolling in style with the Mickey Thompson 35s. Wrapped around a bronze fuel wheel, because everybody knows bronze is the new hotness, and it really makes all the colors pop. Went ahead and got some flat flares for the little bit of extra clearance. Then underneath, I've got some custom drive shafts from Adams, and taking a look at all that gold is some metal cloak goodness, a 4.5-inch long arm lift kit. Up front, I'm running a G2 Core 44 axle assembly, and for steering I've got some Synergy heavy duty tie rod and drag links, as well as the recommended Fox steering stabilizer. The rear end is a match, both have 456 gears and ARB air lockers. The rear bumper also matches the front with all the accessories for more fuel, storage space, and better reverse lights. Everybody's got to have some windshield KCs to be part of the club, but if that's not enough, I've also got some of those blinding LED headlights for you. Now I've done next to nothing underneath the hood. I put an intake on, I installed some dual batteries, and I put a system in to deal with any kind of future accessories that I'm putting in. But it's mostly just showcasing a whole bunch of lazy wiring from not wanting to take it out from the previous owner and my own, because I knew I would be tearing it apart one day, and I said, I'll fix it then. As far as inside, I added the handles that everybody else has, as well as changed out the interior lighting for LED so it's a little more crisp. And of course, more switches for managing all those 12-volt accessories. I did keep my old Sahara seats, as well as added some more storage and mounting options, and of course, added some more distractions to look at on the dash. Hello there. So with all that out of the way, what am I actually doing? In short and simple terms, it's a frame-off resto mod. In a little bit more detail, it is a complete and utter dissection of everything that Jeep has to offer. with a few main goals. The first one being rust-proofing it to the most absurd degree possible. That includes new rust-inhibitive layers like bed liner and even galvanizing the frame, putting a new power plant in, which is going to be moving from gas to a diesel engine. And that diesel is going to be a Cummins R2.8. Now, while that engine, it has a mixed reputation on the internet, and so I took some of those concerns up with Steve Sanders, who was the project lead of the R2.8 crate engine program. And long story short, he was a 4BT swap daily driver. It wasn't the most ideal thing in the world. He wanted to make something a little better. As far as the wishy-washy reputation, in the early days of the program, there was some misinformation put out there that unfortunately just kind of stuck. And he does actually daily drive a R2.8 swapped Rover. So if he's willing to put that much trust into his product, then I think I can trust it a little bit too. So why am I going the diesel route? Well, it sounds cooler. I get low end torque and I get better miles per gallon, which means I can stay out on the trail longer and have to plan less fuel stops on those long adventures. And lastly, it's got to look aesthetically pleasing while it's doing all these things very efficiently. So the last goal is to get it to look like my old Jeep. So unfortunately, my old Jeep caught a little bit of the rust cancer, and I ultimately ended up having to get rid of it. But there's just something about that early TJ Sahara aesthetic to me that's just perfect. That moss green paint with a tan interior and top, it can't be beat for me. So with that said, it will be getting repainted that color. The interior will get changed to the tan as well as the top. And as you've already seen, I kept the Sahara seats and they've been in the new Jeep for quite some time. So in addition to these performance upgrades and a total makeover, I'm gonna add a few creature comforts in just to make it a little bit nicer to drive. One of those things, we're gonna start with upgrading and kind of modernizing the dash a little bit. This does just simplify the swap overall, adding in new gauges rather than trying to implement the factory ones. But we're gonna add in something that's a little more sleek and a little more modern, but still feels like it belongs in the Jeep. We're also gonna go ahead and add in some more speakers, a better amplifier, maybe a subwoofer for some bass. I haven't quite decided yet. And after that, we're also gonna add a controversial one, which is heated seats. They're a surprisingly affordable upgrade, and if I'm already washing the seat covers and replacing the foam, it just seems like a no-brainer. To wrap it all up, I will be adding in some sound deadening material as well as some thermal insulation, so it stays nice, quiet, cool, or warm, at least a little more so than the factory ride would be. So here's to the next few months or year or years. Let's get to it.